Ever feel like your WordPress site is just kind of, well, sitting there, like it's missing that extra something to really grab people's attention?
Ah, I see. You're looking for that magic ingredient, that spark.
Exactly. And I think we might have found it. We've been diving deep into this guide from Now Technology Systems, these Australian web design folks.
How interesting. What's caught your eye?
They're all about using Facebook videos, those ones we all see scrolling through our feeds, to make WordPress sites more engaging.
That's interesting. Using what's already familiar. I like that approach.
Right. So let's unpack this a bit. Why Facebook videos? What's the big deal?
Well, first off, think about it. Video. It's just naturally captivating, isn't it? It grabs your attention in a way that plain text or even images just can't match.
True. I know I'm way more likely to watch a video than read a huge chunk of text.
Exactly. And that's not just you, it's how our brains work. But here's the thing. This isn't just about making your site, visually cooler. It actually has some serious SEO benefits.
SEO. Okay, hold on. You're going to have to break that down for me.
Sure. So when you embed a Facebook video on your site, and people actually watch it, they're spending more time on your page.
Yeah, that makes sense. They get sucked in by the video.
Right. And Google sees that. Longer visit times, it's a signal to them that your site has valuable content, stuff that's worth sticking around for.
So it's like we're tricking Google into thinking our site is super interesting.
I wouldn't say tricking. It's more like we're playing by their rules. We're giving them what they want, engaged visitors. And as a result, they might just boost your site's ranking in search results.
Okay, I like where this is going. So we're making our site more engaging for visitors and potentially giving our SEO a nice little boost.
You got it. But hold on a second before we get too carried away. We got to talk about the elephant in the room.
Oh no, it's a catch.
Well, videos, especially high-quality ones, can be pretty hefty files. They can take a while to load if we're not careful.
Right, and no one wants to sit there staring at a spinning wheel while a video loads.
Exactly. That's why optimization is key here. We need to make sure those video files are streamlined, compressed, without losing too much quality.
Okay, so it's like we got to find that sweet spot between having awesome video quality and making sure it loads quickly.
You got it. It's a balancing act, but totally worth it.
Gotcha. So we've got these eye-catching videos. They load quickly. We're sending good signals to Google. What else is there?
Now, here's where things get really interesting. This guide talks about the power of social proof.
Social proof? I'm not sure I'm following.
Okay, think about it. When you see a Facebook video embedded on a site, and it's already got tons of likes and comments, what's your gut reaction?
I guess I'm more likely to think, hey, this must be good if everyone else is liking it.
Exactly. That's social proof in action. We're naturally drawn to things that others have already endorsed.
So by embedding a Facebook video that's already popular, we're kind of borrowing that credibility, bringing it onto our own site?
Exactly. It's like saying, hey, look, people on Facebook are already loving this. You will too.
Clever. It's like instant street cred for our content.
You got it. Now, another thing this guide dives into is the importance of captions.
Captions. Okay, I get that they're good for accessibility, for folks who can't hear the audio.
Yes, absolutely. Accessibility is crucial. But captions can do even more. They can actually boost your SEO.
Really? How does that work?
Think about it. Google, they can't watch a video the way we do. They can't hear the content.
True. So how do they know what the video's about?
That's where captions come in. They provide a text version of what's being said in the video.
So Google can read the captions and understand what the video is about.
Exactly. And that means they can index your video content better, making it more likely to show up in relevant searches.
So captions are like a secret SEO weapon.
You got it.
Yeah.
They're helping both humans and search engines understand your video.
Okay, I'm on board with the captions. But before we go any further, can we back up a bit and talk about the actual mechanics of embedding? I know the WordPress editor, but sometimes those embed codes can be a bit finicky.
You're right, it can be tricky. First things first, always work in the text view of WordPress.
The text view? Why is that?
That's because the visual editor, it can sometimes mess with the code, trying to be helpful, but actually making things worse.
So it's like the visual editor's trying to rearrange my carefully crafted code.
Exactly. The text view, it keeps everything nice and clean. The code stays as it should.
Makes sense. So we're in the text view. We've pasted in our embed code. Anything else we need to watch out for?
Oh, definitely. Double check that the Facebook video you're embedding is actually set to public. You don't want people clicking on it and getting an error message because it's hidden or private.
Right. We want everyone to see the video. That's the whole point.
Exactly. And here's another little nugget from the guide. Don't just drop the video onto your page without any context.
You mean don't just plop it in there with no explanation?
Right. A brief description, a little intro to the video, it can make a big difference.
So it's like we're setting the stage, giving people a reason to hit that play button.
Exactly. It's all about creating a seamless and engaging experience for your audience.
This is making sense now. We're using Facebook videos, but we're not just randomly throwing them on our site. We're optimizing them, thinking about SEO, accessibility, and even how we present them to our audience.
You got it. It's all about being strategic. But hold on. We've got this great plan, but before we hit publish, there's one crucial thing we can't forget.
Oh, right. The legal stuff. Always important.
Especially here in Australia, We've got those strict copyright and privacy laws.
So what do we need to keep in mind?
First things first, we need to make absolutely sure we have permission to use any content that isn't ours. No sneaking in those cute cat videos without giving credit.
Okay, so if it's not our own video, we got to get permission from the owner. Makes sense.
Right. And even if we have permission, we always got to credit the original source.
So a link back to their Facebook page or wherever we got the video from.
Exactly. It's about being ethical, respecting the creators.
Okay, permission attribution. Got it. Anything else on the legal front?
Just a reminder about privacy. If our video shows recognizable people, we need to be extra careful, make sure we have their consent.
So no random street scenes without checking first.
Exactly. Australia takes privacy seriously, and we want to make sure we're doing things right.
Makes sense. Okay, so we've got our Facebook videos, we're optimizing them, thinking about SEO, accessibility, we're being legally savvy. I'm feeling pretty good about this.
Me too. But hold on a second, because there's so much more we can do with these embedded gems.
Wait, there's more.
Oh, you bet there is. We've only just scratched the surface. We've talked about, like, the basics, getting the video embedded. But now let's talk about making those videos really work for us.
Okay, I'm all about working smarter, not harder. What you got?
Calls to action. Have you ever thought about how you could use those?
Calls to action. I mean, I know they're important, but I usually just kind of slap a button under the video and hope for the best.
Yeah, I think a lot of folks do that. But there's a real art to it, It's all about guiding your viewers. Don't just let the video end and leave them hanging.
So, like, give them a next step.
Exactly. It's like, imagine you're leading someone through a forest. You wouldn't just abandon them, right? You'd leave breadcrumbs. Show them the way.
Okay, I like the analogy. So how do we do that with our videos?
Well, think about your goals. What do you want people to do after they watch the video?
Good question. I guess it depends on the video. Sometimes I want them to check out a product. Sometimes I want them to leave a comment.
Exactly. And your call to action should reflect that. It's all about alignment.
So if it's a product video, my call to action could be shop now or learn more.
You got it. And if it's a video designed to spark discussion, you might say something like, join the conversation or share your thoughts.
It's like we're turning a passive viewing experience into an active one.
Exactly. You're inviting your viewers to participate, to become part of the story. And speaking of participation, don't underestimate the power of the comments section.
Yeah, sometimes those comment sections can get pretty lively.
For sure. And that's a good thing.
Yeah.
It means people are engaged, they're thinking, they're connecting with each other.
But sometimes things can get a little out of hand.
True. That's why moderation is key. You got to set some ground rules, make sure the conversation stays respectful and on topic.
So it's our job to kind of steer the ship, make sure things don't go off course.
You got it. And don't be afraid to jump in and participate yourself. Respond to comments, ask questions.
So it's not just about letting people talk amongst themselves. It's about us, the website owners, being part of that conversation.
Exactly. It shows you're listening, you care about what your audience has to say, and it builds that sense of community,
Oh, okay. This is making a lot of sense. We're using calls to action to guide our viewers. We're fostering discussions in the comments, and we're being active participants ourselves. It's all about creating that engagement, right?
You nailed it.
Yeah.
But before we get too carried away with all these strategies, we got to make sure we've got the technical stuff down pat.
Right. We don't want to be building this amazing engagement machine on a shaky foundation.
Exactly. So let's talk embed codes. We're all familiar with those, right?
Yeah, kind of. I mean, I know how to copy and paste, but sometimes those codes can be a bit intimidating.
I hear ya. First things first, always double check that you're logged into the right Facebook account when you grab the code.
Oh, right, because I've got, like, my personal Facebook and my business page. Don't want to mix those up.
Exactly.
Mm.
Imagine accidentally embedding a video of your cat doing something silly on your professional website.
Oh, that would be a disaster. Okay, so right account, got it. What else?
If you're working with a web developer or designer, it's a good idea to give them access to the Facebook video itself, rather than just sending them the embed code.
Why is that?
It gives them more flexibility to customize the video's appearance on your site. They can tweak the size, the autoplay settings, make sure it all looks just right.
So we're not just stuck with whatever the default embed code gives us.
Right. And it also kind of future-proofs your site. If Facebook decides to change their embed code format, your developer can handle those updates without needing you to, resend the code.
Smart. Okay, so we've grabbed the right embed code, we've shared it with our developer, and now we're ready to paste it into WordPress. Any tips for avoiding a code meltdown?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Always use the text or HTML view in WordPress, not the visual editor.
The text view. Why is that so important?
The visual editor, it's great for a lot of things, but it can sometimes mess with your code, especially when it comes to embeds.
It's like it tries to be helpful, but it ends up making things worse.
Exactly. The text view keeps everything neat and tidy. No surprises.
Okay, so text view it is. We've pasted the code in. Anything else?
Don't forget to preview. Always preview the post or page before hitting publish, just to make sure everything looks right, the video's playing correctly, the call to action is working.
Right. Gotta do a final check before we unleash it on the world.
Exactly. Quality control is key. Now, we've talked about the technical side of things, but let's not forget the visual aspect. Those little design touches that can make a big difference.
Oh, yeah, the visual stuff is important. What do we need to keep in mind?
So, with the embed code, you can actually control whether the video autoplays or not. You can choose whether it loops, whether it shows the Facebook controls.
Wow, so we have a lot of control over how the video looks and behaves on our site.
You got it. It's all about creating that cohesive experience, making sure the video fits seamlessly with your website's overall style.
This is blowing my mind. I never realized we had so many options.
And remember those captions we talked about. Those are important for accessibility, but they also help keep people engaged, especially if they're watching with the sound off.
True. A lot of people scroll through videos on mute.
Exactly. So make sure your captions are clear, easy to read, and maybe even a little bit fun.
Okay, so we've got calls to action, comments, technical know-how, and we're even thinking about design. We're really covering all the bases here. But before we get too carried away, let's circle back to those Australian regulations.
Right. You got to stay on the right side of the law. Copyright, privacy, those big deals.
Okay, reminder time. What are the key things we need to remember?
If we're using a video that we didn't create ourselves, permission is absolutely essential.
So no grabbing those viral videos without asking nicely?
Nope. Reach out to the creator, explain how you want to use the video, and get their explicit consent.
Makes sense. And even if we have permission, we still need to give them credit, right?
Absolutely. Always include a link back to the original source. It's about being respectful, giving credit where it's due.
Okay, permission and attribution, check. Now, what about privacy? What red flags should we watch out for?
So if our video shows identifiable people, especially if they're the focus of the video, we need to make sure we have their consent.
Okay, so if I'm embedding a video from, say, a local event, and there are people clearly visible in the footage, I should get their permission first.
Exactly. It's all about respecting people's privacy. You don't want to end up in any legal hot water.
Gotcha. We're being respectful of copyright, giving credit where it's due, and being mindful of privacy. Anything else we should be aware of?
Yeah, there's this thing called moral rights.
Moral rights. That sounds intriguing.
So even if we have permission to use a video, the creator still has certain rights, even beyond copyright. They have the right to be attributed and the right to object to any changes to their work that could harm their reputation.
So it's not just about whether we're legally allowed to use the video. It's also about being respectful of the creator's vision and intentions.
Exactly. It's about ethical content creation, treating others how we'd want to be treated.
Okay, I like that. We're being legally savvy and ethically sound. I'm feeling pretty good about our Facebook video strategy now.
Me too.
Yeah.
But hold on tight, because there's one more layer to this.
Wait, there's even more. I thought we had covered everything.
We've laid the groundwork, but now it's time to really level up, take things to the next level. We've got all these tools and strategies, right? But sometimes it's the little things that make the biggest difference.
Okay, I'm intrigued. What kind of little things are we talking about?
Think about placement, where you actually put the video on your page.
placement. I never really thought about that too much. I usually just kind of stick it at the top of the page.
Yeah, a lot of people do that.
Yeah.
But it's worth putting some thought into it, you know? Think of it like you're setting up a shop, right?
Yeah.
You wouldn't bury your most eye-catching merchandise in a dark corner, would you?
No way. You'd put it front and center where everyone can see it. So we're talking about giving our videos prime real estate on the page.
Exactly. Consider the flow of your content. Think about where the video will naturally catch the eye and make people want to click play.
So above the fold, where it's visible right away without scrolling.
That's usually a good bet. But you can also get creative, you know? Embed the video within a blog post, break up the text, add some visual interest.
Okay, so we're being strategic about where we place those videos, making sure they're in the spotlight. What
Well,
else?
let's talk about those calls to action again. We've touched on them, but there's always more to explore, right?
Yeah, I'm always up for some next level call to action strategies.
So we've talked about using them to promote products, encourage comments, but think bigger. Think email signups, social media follows, even registrations for webinars or events.
Wow, so we can use these embedded videos to achieve all sorts of different goals.
Exactly. It all comes back to alignment. What are your objectives? What do you want people to do? Tailor those calls to action accordingly.
This is opening up a whole new world of possibilities.
And remember those captions we talked about. Those aren't just about accessibility. They're a storytelling tool.
Oh, interesting. I hadn't thought about it that way.
You can use them to emphasize key points, inject a little humor, even create a sense of mystery.
So captions are like adding another layer to the video, enhancing the experience for viewers.
Exactly. They're an opportunity to get creative, to really draw people in.
This is fantastic. I'm feeling inspired. But before we get too carried away, we need to make sure we're not just guessing right.
Aha. You're talking data. Every good marketer needs data. It's about tracking those videos, seeing what's working, what's not.
Okay, so how do we track this data? What should we be looking at?
Facebook, they give you insights on video views, engagement, how many people are watching, how long they're staying engaged.
So we can see if people are actually watching the whole video or dropping off halfway through.
Exactly. And then you can use Google Analytics to see how people are interacting with the videos on your website itself.
So we're not just going on gut feeling, we're using data to make informed decisions.
Exactly. It's all about being strategic. Now, before we wrap up this deep dive, let's acknowledge the elephant in the room.
Oh, right. We've talked about all the positives, but what about the potential downsides of embedding Facebook videos?
Well, one thing to consider is loading speed. Videos, especially those high-definition ones, can be big files.
And if they take forever to load, people are going to get frustrated and click away.
Exactly. And Google doesn't like slow websites either. It can hurt your SEO.
So we got to make sure those videos are optimized, compressed, ready to load lightning fast.
You got it. Use compression tools. Make sure your website's using a CDN, a content delivery network. It helps distribute those files more efficiently.
Okay, speed is crucial. Anything else we need to watch out for?
Here's the thing. When you embed a Facebook video, you're relying on another platform, right? Facebook, they control the player. They can make changes whenever they want, and we don't always have control over that.
So it's kind of like building our house on rented land. We don't own the foundation.
Exactly. It's smart to have a backup plan, you know. Maybe host the video on your own server or explore other platforms like YouTube or Vimeo.
So we're not putting all our eggs in the Facebook basket?
Exactly. Diversify. Have options. And while we're talking about potential hiccups, let's not forget about comments.
Oh, right. Comments can be a double-edged sword.
They're great for engagement, but they can also be a breeding ground for negativity if we're not careful.
So what's the best way to handle those not-so-nice comments?
Have a clear moderation policy. Decide what you're okay with and what you're not. Don't be afraid to remove comments that are abusive or off-topic.
And what about responding to negative comments? Is it better to ignore them or engage?
It depends. Sometimes a calm, professional response can diffuse the situation. Other times, it's best to just delete and move on.
So we're protecting our online space, but we're also showing that we're listening and that we care.
Exactly. It's a balancing act. And finally, let's circle back to those moral rights one last time.
Okay, I'm all ears. Why are moral rights so important?
Because they go beyond just copyright. They recognize the creator's connection to their work. Make sure you're not distorting the video, changing the message, or doing anything that could harm the creator's reputation.
So it's about respecting the creator, even beyond the legal requirements.
You got it. It's about building a positive online community, one where everyone feels valued and respected.
Wow, this has been an incredible deep dive. I feel like I've learned so much about embedding Facebook videos, it's not just about copying and pasting, it's about strategy, creativity, and even ethics.
You got it. It's about using these tools in a way that benefits everyone. You, your audience, and the creators of the content you're sharing.
To our listeners, if you're ready to take your WordPress site to the next level, give embedded Facebook videos a try. We've given you the roadmap. Now it's time to start exploring.
Remember, don't be afraid to experiment. See what works for you, what resonates with your audience.
This has been an amazing conversation. Thanks for all the insights.
It's been my pleasure. And remember, keep learning, keep growing, keep creating.